that was quite the entertainment.
Relax. This is my African brother right here. Let's go. What's up? Let's go. Yeah. What's up? Get what gonna do? Yeah, my African brother. Yeah, my African brother. What's up?
I'm African, but I ain't no brother of yours, son.
Let's go. You my for real. I'll show you.
So what are you saying to everybody in New Zealand? What are you saying?
I'll tell you one thing. Yo, I don't need a DNA test. I don't need a 36andMe to know where I'm from. You don't even, if I do a 26andMe, they'll say I'm from Nigeria. Do a 26andMe DNA test. It'll tell you where you're from. I will show you where you're from.
Okay, so
That part I didn't really get.
So, they're playing on the whole apartheid thing.
No, I know.
And so it'll, like he's saying, like it'll show you you're like Dutch in your origin, and it'll show my origins are from Africa.
Yes.
And so it's like, who's the real African? And like,
no, go ahead, finish that thought.
Because I actually think this makes I have mixed opinions. I think it was a little cringy, but I also thought
cringy.
I thought it was pretty like creative, and I think Izzy's like I was thinking today, like I don't know whether to hate him or love him. Like sometimes he's the villain, I feel like the instigator, and sometimes he's like the guy you're rooting for, and he can like do that differently between fights. Like he's actually pretty good at promoting fights, is he?
Yeah, that got awkward for me because I was just like, he's dropping the N-bomb in a room full of white folks, which is just hilarious to me.
I thought that was kind of like creative. Like I thought that I kind of like enjoyed that. I was like, oh, that's good.
I don't know, maybe once or twice. He said it like 5, 6, 7 times. I was like, all right. I don't know if we're gonna say something else, but this is getting a little awkward. And I do get the thing from like apartheid and all that, but I do question, like, at what point, how many generations removed before you cannot use that as like you're not really from here, you know? Like this is my issue. My parents are immigrants here, right? So my parents are from Jamaica. They're immigrants to the U.S. The U.S. has given us everything, obviously, clearly. But then you have some people who say like you're not from here or you're not really American because you have your Jamaican heritage intact. And I'm just like, so at what point do you actually become a real citizen other than your birthright of where you were born? That's where it gets like silly for me. It's like if I have a kid in freaking where's the whitest place I could think of? Sweden. Is my kid really Swedish? I mean, they grew up in Sweden. Like,
I think so, yeah.
I mean, yeah, but no. In a sense of like, do we have Swedish like upbringing, roots, history other than the school system that we go through?
You grew up in that culture.
Yeah, but that's like, if you were like to take in that culture kind of thing.
So, I mean, like you obviously have a lot of like Jamaican culture in your upbringing, but you're also very like American.
I went to American schools.
Yeah, and like all your friends were American, and.
But do you see where I'm going with what I'm saying? Is like people harp on this where they try to one up each other. So my thing is, I don't know whether or not if Izzy is right in using that as a defense.
I feel like he's trying to just build it.
Yeah.
Like I feel like he heard it and like heard him say that, and he was like, "Oh, I can use this to build a fight because who else? Like everyone else I've already beat, so it's like." I could build this with this guy.
If that is the angle that he's looking at it from, brilliant. If it's not, then I just don't. I don't really get like, the point of them not just Izzy. Like the point of them even talking about that. It's just like, why are you guys even like making this a point of focus? You guys are both technically African, but Izzy grew up for the most part, a good amount of his life in New Zealand. But he claims, you know what I mean? So. But he could claim both, the same way I claim the United States because I was born and raised here, but I also have my upbringing and how I was grown with a Jamaican culture intact.
It's very similar.
I just don't get, when people bring that up, it makes it a little uncomfortable for me because then I go like, I don't even know what to even do with this. But again, it's just building a fight, getting people to talk about it, which we're doing right now.
I mean, it's definitely it makes that fight way more appealing.
Yeah, and interesting. But
Yeah.
then it's just like, but what does that prove after they fight? Like, even that part is still like, well,
I don't know. I think
it just doesn't even like. Why are we even talking about this? It's like,
because now, so like I think a lot of like
it's like me fighting over a limited edition card. Like, I'm gonna show you I got mine from Amazon versus you got yours from the wholesaler. I don't know. It's just
no,
like,
but
what are we,
it
what are
actually
we-
touches on a sensitive subject because
Oh, it does.
like a lot of
Slavery
people
just finished over there.
Yeah.
Not too long ago.
Yeah, and
in
even
South Africa.
people like debate this stuff a lot. Like a friend, a guy I know was saying like he thinks Izzy's racist for acting how he acts towards Dricus, and you know, like you see what I'm saying? Like it actually stimulates this like emotion in people like all over the place.
But
like,
is that a good emotion to stimulate? That's kind of the part that I'm like,
it translates into
that I
money.
wrestle with.
That's the one thing.
It translates into money, does it though?
I mean, I actually think this is a huge fight. Like Izzy just created a huge narrative by harping on this.
I guess.
I think.
But what do you think is going to turn into a white and black thing, or
Yeah.
a South African thing?
Yeah.
Now?
It's
I
going to
mean-
turn into a white and black thing.
How many people in Africa are actually watching the fights? Like
Not
continent wise, Nigerian wise, like, you know what I mean? I know Izzy's a superstar over there, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know how much them talking about race stimulates that for like. I don't know. It's just a weird point. I get your point, but it's just weird to me. It's just weird for me, or I don't want to say uncomfortable because it's not uncomfortable. It's just, what do you, after we fight and we build the fight and we keep talking about race, like, what's the end result? Like Piotr Jan versus Aljamain Sterling, he was acting. What's the end result? I'm gonna show you if I was acting. Okay, TJ Dillashaw, he's a paper champion. I've been the champion. I've been the champion the whole time. Okay, I'm gonna show you that I've been the champion and you've been.
It's not like.
So what's the result here from this talking point building to the fight, which is awkward for me because I'm just like, well, what like after the end of the fight, whoever wins, then it's like, what? I'm more African than you. I proved it.
No, I think it's more
It's
like
like, what
Izzy
do we-
heard that and was offended by it and took it personally. So now he has a vendetta against him, and there's bad blood. And now Dricus is being like, you know, he wants to defend himself, and now they got to fight about it. Like,
Yeah, but we're making a fight about race now. It's just weird. It's just a weird angle. I get it, but it is a weird angle. You're fighting about who's more African. I mean, you're both technically really African, but one who's more African. If this, any of them who's actually the realest African in the UFC was Francis Ngannou.
yeah, he was actually like born and raised.
Born and raised up there
Like,
for a very long
escaped
time.
there.
Escaped.
Became heavyweight champion. Yeah, that's the hit. Yeah, it always was weird. They all were like,
But
there was the 3 African champs, but only one was born and raised there. Type thing.
But the whole bloodline.
Yeah.
And even just talking about race, it's, yeah, I get the point that Izzy's making because, yeah, he's actually, if you did 23andMe, yeah, nice straight up Nigerian. Where's Dricus from? Holland? I don't know. Sweden? Who knows where the heck his bloodline is actually from, where they travel from. But how many generations has he had in South Africa? But now we're harping on this thing that it's just like, I don't know, dude. You looking at me, I'm like, I'm just a guy, I'm a bystander. Like, I don't want to catch any strays. I don't.
I thought if Dricus wanted to go full on like villain, he could have said it back, the N-word, and then it would have just been like.
And then he would have been public enemy number one.
Yeah, and then it would have been. I thought about that like in the moment. I was like, I was the devil on my shoulder was like, he should say it back, just to make this like one of the biggest fights of all time.
Oh,
because then it would have been like real bad. But now it's like, oh, like you would have totally sided with Izzy there.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, and I would have too. I would have been like, nah, like you shouldn't say that to a black dude, you know, especially if you're from South Africa and you're white and that whole history. So
yeah, there's a lot of animosity there, and it feels authentic. And at the end of the day, I know they're both professionals, and I know that they're really more so. They respect anyone who gets into the octagon, but I know there's a moral victory here to be had for either one of these guys.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely looking forward to this matchup. I'm leaning towards Izzy. I think it's gonna be hard for him. But then again, Dricus has actually got that X factor, like I said, but he's got
savage.
He's got grappling, man.
That's true.
Not like straight wrestling takedowns, but he's got like he hit a beautiful judo throw. Who hits a freaking head and arm throw on Robert Whitaker, like at that weight class?
Robert Whitaker took Izzy down a bunch in their last fight.
And Yoel Romero.
Yeah. Like he's demonstrated his wrestling ability against Izzy. This guy didn't get taken down by Rob and took Rob down and kind of controlled him on the ground.
Who's going to prepare better, man?
And yeah.
I think if we're going to go strength-wise, I'm giving a strength advantage to obviously the physical specimen in Dricus.
Yeah.
You're going to go grappling-wise, I'm giving the edge to Dricus. And if we're going to go diversity in attacks and being able to style with the feints and everything, Izzy all day. Kickboxing, boxing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm leaning towards Izzy with that by far. And we got ourselves a really good fight. We got bad blood. We got everything you could want in terms of theatrics. We got bad blood. We got Izzy dropping the M-bomb on Dricus in an awkward way internationally. And now he has to defend that.
Now imagine he loses, man. And then
that's the game.
Like you're putting a lot on the line.
I like it.
Yeah, I'm excited for this fight. Actually, I think it's a huge fight.
No, it is definitely a huge fight. Don't get me wrong, but it was just like, so what's our end resolution after this fight? Does one become more black than the other? I was like, I don't know.